This week, the OnTV crew with host Bobby Pastorius relocate to their winter home port of West Palm Beach, Florida, in efforts to get Jen Pastorius more practice to secure her spot with the OnTV tournament team. The crew this week will consist of Bobby and Jen Pastorius, with Captain Joe Drosy and First Mate John Goodman fishing aboard Rhonda's Osprey. In pursuit of her goal, Jen will try her hand at the next step of hooking her own fish by kite fishing, targeting the Atlantic sailfish. This will be another exciting adventure. This week, OnTV's target species is the Atlantic sailfish. With its advanced eyesight, ability to hunt prey, and speeds topping 35 miles per hour, the Atlantic sailfish is one of the most highly sought-after pelagic fish in the world.
Some of the main reasons anglers make it down here in the South Florida area during these winter months is, for one, the colder temperatures around the rest of the country is going to start to reduce the catch in their particular fisheries. That gives them an opportunity to come down here and take advantage of a unique situation West Palm Beach has. As the Gulf Stream comes around the Keys and works its way north, it comes just close enough to the beach where it's dumping millions and millions of gallons of nutrient-rich water over top of the natural structure and man-made structure this area of the state of Florida has in place for fishermen. The main two pieces of structure people fish when they're fishing out of West Palm is a reef system that they have in 90 to 120 feet of water, and then any one of dozens of man-made artificial reefs that were positioned in different parts of the area in different depths. This gives the fishermen who like to watch temperature breaks and the way the Gulf Stream's moving an opportunity that as the Gulf Stream expands and contracts, we could find what edges are overlapping what pieces of structure, and that structure is going to be holding the bait, and the predators will be right there along with them. The structure that we're talking about when we say underwater reef structure acts almost like a highway for this bait as it starts running south. As the colder water from the north pushes them down, this gives them a safe haven. It also gives the predators an area to work up and down. That's why most places that you find, especially when you're looking at kite fishermen, are sitting on top of some piece of structure. One of the great things about Palm Beach Inlet is if you just continue dead east, within 50 miles, you'll be fishing within sight of the Bahamas, which is well in the middle and sometimes on the eastern edge of the Gulf Stream. Or come out the inlet, and whether you go left or right, you got your choice of structure to pick from, holding the bait and fishing for some of the predators, especially the migratory predators that are going to use that reef structure as a guiding point to make their trip from north to south or south to north. This week, we're looking for a particular predator that comes in after these sardines, and that's the Atlantic sailfish. Our main goal over the next couple of weeks is to get Jen ready for a tournament season that comes up for us each year starting the middle of July with tuna and grand finales at the end of August where we have our white marlin tournaments in the Northeast Canyons. It's important to us to have Jen be a part of the team. Last week we had her down in Isla where she did a very good job of angling in 19 Atlantic sailfish, where as soon as we hooked the fish, we handed her the rod and immediately started backing down to the fish, trying to get the fish in and released in 2 to 4 minutes. This week, we thought it was the perfect opportunity. Use the kite system of fishing, which is going to be a very high hookup ratio for her, and understand the science of hooking a fish.
I'm excited about this week. I'm ready to take the next step and hook my own fish. I have so much more experience kite fishing than I do trolling.
The first time anybody goes out and sees a kite fish operation, it looks like a spider web going out, but it's actually a very organized labyrinth of fishing presentation. As they start to go out, there's 3 clips on them, very similar to an outrigger clip. As the clip comes up off the reel, We connect one of our rods to it and keep the kite going out. By the end, you have a kite that had 3 clips, will have 3 different rods connected to it. Most boats, like us today, will be flying 2 kites. Now, we chose to do 2 rods off of each kite to keep it very simple for Jen, and we're gonna use 2 flat lines. That way it'll be easy to understand where the baits are. For an inexperienced angler or somebody that wants to get used to using circle hooks for the first time in their life, kite fishing has just been an amazing way for us to get our people acclimated to this style of fishing. What most people don't know about this kind of fishing, you hear live bait, you think you're just gonna come out and set out live bait, sit around and wait for something to happen. It's a constant communication between the captain and the cockpit. Drop it back a little bit, bring it in. They want to keep those baits perfectly suspended on the top of the water. Captain's up there staring at the baits the whole time, waiting to get that first crack. Any advance notice you have on these fish coming up, it's going to be represented in your hookup ratio at the end of the day. Kite fishing's a little different than trolling. All of your rods are right in front of you on the leaning post. So as I was listening to Joe on where he wanted each bait positioned in the water, Jen went inside to start preparing us breakfast, and before I knew it, Joe's telling me we got a sailfish on the long left. All right, something just picked us up right here. In an effort to keep Jen involved in the day, we called her out, made her reel in this first fish, and hopefully she'll be manning the rods from this point forward. Looking good right now, got our first sailfish up of the day. It's action, good job, baby.
I think these guys tricked me. They asked me to go in and get them something for breakfast, and the next thing I knew, they were all screaming at me to get my belt. We were already hooked up.
That's one for the day for the OnTV crew. Jen's first in the stick. After doing this for years, you start to really get your excitement from watching other people's excitement while they're learning, and that's what I live for. It does not get any better than this. The action is red hot down here. These fish are acrobatics. Look at him, there's another jump. These fish are acrobatics. Look at him, there's another jump. These Atlantic sailfish down here, they just go ballistic after they realize they're caught on a line, and as this one's showing, there's sometimes you can get 6, 7 jumps out of the same fish. Keep reeling. Other side of the boat, babe. Follow me over here. Great job, great job. Let's get them cut close, give me the cutter. That's Palm Beach, baby. Woo! Good job.
Yeah.
Yes. How was that?
That's awesome.
That was awesome. That fish came up perfect.
Yeah.
Well, what are you thinking? You gonna get in on one or what? I want you to hook your own today. That's the goal for me. I want to get you used to hooking these fish, and they're biting today, so this is a great opportunity for it.
Okay, nice.
OnTV is brought to you by Diamond Fishing Products. Our reputation is on the line. And Ocean LED, light years ahead. The OnTV crew is in West Palm Beach, Florida, where Jen works to secure her spot with the OnTV tournament team, learning to hook her own Atlantic sailfish aboard Rhonda's Osprey. One of the hardest things to master when you're trolling for white, blue, marlin, or Pacific or Atlantic sailfish is understanding getting a belly in a line when you're doing the drop back. So many anglers don't know how long it takes to drop back, or they set the drag too early, and the frustration factor is normally one of the biggest reasons their hookup ratios are low. When a sailfish comes up on a kite bait, more often than not, he's so committed, by the time he starts to swim away, he's already tried to swallow the bait. That's gonna act in Jen's favor dramatically in her hookup ratio. Kite fishing is gonna take the drop back out of the equation for Jen. Because of the belly, it automatically puts in the line as you put the lines out on the outrigger clips that are attached to the kite. What you have underneath you in this structure is a bait superhighway. You're trying to pick which part of the reef you feel is holding the most bait, and therefore will have most predators staging off of the bait. As they go after the bait balls, they're singling out the weaker or the wounded baits, and our presentation is designed to silhouette a scenario where there's 5 or 6 baits flashing on the surface. They're not around any huge bait balls. It looks like an easy lunch to one of these predators, and when they come up,
they're lit up. That's why kite fishing has become so successful down here in South Florida. So as you're fishing along this bait superhighway, you never know where the bait's gonna actually be staging, and it helps to have a bunch of other fishermen that you're in communication with helping you out. We ran a little bit north out of the inlet. We did pick up a sailfish real quick, but quickly got a call from one of our friends a little south of the inlet. They were on a bigger ball of predators. There were sailfish everywhere, so we made the short run, see if we couldn't get Jen on her first fish that she hooked herself.
In my experience, anytime there's a repositioning on the osprey, it normally means more fish.
Repositioning's a big part of all this stuff. We just got a call. They're biting a little better down the beach, made a short run. Here we are.
Got to sail after flat line, Bob.
Oh.
Sail after flat.
I don't know if I really made it to the rod in time or if Bobby pushed me into it, but before I knew it, I grabbed the rod, I was able to put a perfect belly in the line. Got it.
Slide this forward now. You're gonna let that circle hook engage. Just pull the rod to the side. You'll feel him if he's on there. Tight! Go on, Jen! Hooked her own fish today! Nice!
And right there, I hooked my very first sailfish.
So here we are, we spent half the day explaining to Jen she won't have to worry about the drop back because the bite was gonna come off the kite and flatline bite, but we were all impressed. She ran right over, free spooled the line, which was the exact thing to do. Because of the live bait, made the fish hold on extra tight, and she tightened up and got her first Atlantic sailfish on a hook.
By this point, I was feeling pretty good about myself. I wasn't able to see the fish come up behind the bait on the kite line, but I was able to hook my very own fish on the flat line.
Anybody from around the country, if you want to get some experience on some anglers, you come down here, they're going to get the action, that's for sure. Very good. Nice job on that. Quick to the rod. Keep it tight on him. Keep it tight. You want to feel him now. Okay. There you go. There you go. Good job. Very good. Very good. Keep it nice and steady now. See what I was saying? They're just like white marlin. Let the boat bring you to the fish. Just keep that constant tension on them. A lot of people get nervous with these circle hooks. I'll tell you, just do it like it needs to be done and you're going to get a high hookup ratio on them. There you go.
All right, here he goes.
Another fish in the books, baby. Good job, John. Good job on that one.
Right.
Yo, does it feel any different when you hook your own?
Oh, I love it.
Good job, girl.
Every week we try to talk about the mortality rate of these billfish and how we decided as a team that from now on, no more handling of the fish, cut the line as close as we can to the fish's mouth. And some people were asking about what happens to the hook when it's in the mouth. The hook industry deserves a lot of credit for the mortality rate of the fish. They're designing hooks now that within days will oxidize and just fall out of the fish's mouth. As a matter of fact, on our tournament team, we change our hooks out every 3 hours because they already start to oxidize and dull a little bit. The mortality rate of these fish is something that should be in the back of everybody's mind, especially when you're talking about these apex predators that we want to make sure generations to come are going to have access to see and enjoy like we do today.
OnTV is brought to you by Roff's, Ruffer's Ocean Fishing Forecast Service, and Hopkins Carter, what you need at the price you want since 1916. OnTV is brought to you by Spooled Up Sport Fishing, twice the line in half the time, and Heartland Gold, one of the nation's leading marine life jewelers. Jen learns how to hook her own fish while kite fishing in South Florida, all in an effort to solidify her spot on the OnTV tournament team.
So we got together after we saw Jen's new attitude in the cockpit, and Joey gave me the nod to step it up a little bit and let's get her some real experience on what it would be like in the cockpit of a tournament operation. So game on as far as I was concerned.
Sail after a long kite, Bob. Sail after a long kite.
All right.
He's leading it right now.
Oh yeah, I see him, I see him. Tight. Woo! Tight, baby. Jen, come on, get your belt on.
I was a little upset. I waited all afternoon for another fish to come in the spread, and when it did, Bobby, being the rod hog that he could be sometimes, hooked it himself. So I made him reel it in.
Good job, Bob. Nice job.
Right on. If you're coming down here, at least for me, I come down for one reason, and that's just keeping these beautiful billfish all year round. Excitement obviously tapers off up there in the fall, and you get down here in the middle of the winter like this, you can take care of these beautiful fish, and there's plenty of them. Nice fish. That was textbook. He came up and showed us all a little show, spun around a little bit, came up, took the bait. Very short drop back on this compared to Pool and Ballyhoo up north. They're just inhaling these goggle eyes. Thank God for these boats. These fish stretch themselves out on you pretty good. 20-pound class line. That's all they want. All right, John, when this leader comes up, you're the boss.
There's the leader.
Come grab it.
Cut him off, John. There he is. All right.
Nice. My man,
right.
good job, brother.
Good
Thanks,
catch,
dude.
man.
Perfect.
Got him.
Perfect fish.
One of the benefits of the show for me has been to know what's going on underwater around me. Here's a perfect example of a fish hooked on a circle hook, hooked in the side of the mouth, and released in a way that we feel is most humane without being handled at all. Because of the way we released this fish by cutting it close to the mouth, you could see by the color of the tailor he's swimming with, clearly exhausted, but swimming away to fight another day.
It was a little frustrating for me keeping the bait suspended on the kites like Joey wanted me to, so I just spent my time focusing and concentrating on both the flat lines.
Sail on a left long kite. Sail on your left long.
There he is, I see him.
Short, too. Cap in the short.
This is serious business. Seems like every time a fish is in the spread, Bobby finds himself at the perfect place at the right time.
Tight on this one. Oh, man. He's a jumper, this one, staying right on the top. That's a perfect example of why you want to use light lines and light drags. Fish stay right on the surface. All right. Yeah, I got him right now. Once you get the fish caught nice, just like this one, he's out there laying on his side. All right, good, good. Yep, tight. John, you ready for me? Oh, look at him, he's lit up, boy. Dumping me. Woo! Well, this is what we were talking about. There's a pack of them back there on our baits. Got one tight. These guys are trying to get a double header here.
Come around on him.
All right, here we go. They get set up down there, they turn sideways on you, and you start to realize why they call them sailfish. They're just constant pressure. John, here's the line. Lead her up. Nice, nice.
Nice.
Woo! What a day.
OnTV is brought to you by Tigris. Tigris quality, accept no imitations, and Midshore Electronics, a leader in the sale, service, and installation of marine electronics on the East Coast. OnTV is brought to you by Frigid Rigid, the only ice chest you'll ever need unless one is not enough, and Turner Realty, servicing the state of Florida realty needs for 85 years.
Jen refused to reel in a fish that she didn't hook this day, which makes me very proud, but starting to scare me a little bit because now I'm going to start to have competition in the cockpit.
Got to sail after flatline, Bob.
Right here, right here, right here, right here. Get on it. Take the clicker off. He's eating it.
All right, he's got it, he's got it.
Jen really did a good job on this fish. she legitimately saw the fish come up on the surface at the same time the captain did and hooked it perfectly.
Hooked up again.
Hooking my own fish is pretty cool. Instead of Bobby telling me to grab my belt, this time he had to grab it for me.
Woo! That's Palm Beach action, baby! Joey's not afraid to wet us, is he? Woo! Woo!
Next leader, Bob.
Back up, baby. Baby! Got him on, brother. Woo! That's another fish.
Well, that's a wrap from West Palm Beach. At the end of the day, of 5 sailfish total, I hooked 3, Jen hooked 2, her confidence is rising, and she's already hooking almost half the fish. We couldn't be more proud of Jen's journey so far on becoming a tournament angler. Join us next week as we travel over to Capos, Costa Rica, and let Jen try her hand at some Pacific sails.
We hope you enjoyed watching this week's episode of On TV. Join us next week as host Bobby Pastorius and crew continue their pursuit of the outdoors in Capos, Costa Rica, with owner-operator Pat Carey aboard the Top Notch as Jen moves toward the final stage of preparation for securing her spot on the On TV tournament team by hooking her own Pacific sailfish.